Hey there, investors. This is Devin Moreno, and today I want to talk to you about fast tracking your investing career because I'm not going to lie. When I first got into investing, I learned that a single family home only cash flows after all of the vacancies and allocations generally about $300 a door. And let's be honest, I don't want to wake up every day trying to collect 100 rental properties so that I can quit my job. That sounds exhausting. Many of us are just either looking for a side income where we just want more money coming in, or we're really trying to supplement our day job and maybe make this our full-time gig. Well, unfortunately, the way you're really going to get to that, yeah, you can do it through rooming houses, which I talk about on this channel quite a bit, but more often than not, you're really going to do this through multifamily. The problem is multifamily houses are hard to find. So realistically, you're going to start eyeing duplexes, which are abundant throughout most of your areas. These properties cash flow $700 to $900 a month sometimes if done correctly. And even if not, they still cash flow more than your average single family home, despite requiring pretty much the same amount of work. So it really begs the question, why are we even bothering with other homes? Obviously, I think duplexes are a fantastic way to start your journey, so I want to show you in this video how I find duplex homes, because of course, if you're looking for them, that means a lot of other people are as well. There's a lot of tricks to doing this, and I want to share them with you right now. So as a person who started this whole investing career 2 years ago, I now have 5 real estate properties that I own outright, but of course I invest with my partners as well. If you look on this channel, there's 4 others whom I invest with, and all of us own a combined total of 100 units of properties. I love duplexes. We love collecting these throughout Baltimore City, most specifically, where we can find a lot of them. And these things are alone the reason that I think I'm gonna be able to quit my job. Single family homes and rooming houses, of course, equate into the wealth creation strategy, and we do certainly purchase those as well, but you're definitely going to find that this is a slam dunk every time I find one. So the first trick that I often found is that realtors seem to be pretty lazy or just wrong a lot of times when they're putting things on the MLS. So let me go ahead and explain that. When realtors become realtors, first off, as many of you know, anybody can really become a realtor. There's nothing more than just a couple courses that you have to take. So a lot of them are a little bit inexperienced on exactly how to enter things in the MLS. What ends up happening is they often mislabel duplexes, most specifically, as single-family homes. This is a very easy thing to do. It is a constant mistake. It was one that I actually noticed as I was beginning on my own journey. And I noticed that a lot of these single-family homes, when I was kind of just looking for properties, were actually mislabeled duplexes. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this correct? I showed my realtor, and he's like, yeah, that's a mislabeled duplex. And I'm like, fantastic. These are homes that usually, when you go on Redfin and Zillow, which pull from the MLS, you go on there and you type in multifamily, or you click multifamily, and that's what you want. Well, these won't come up, which means anyone else who's new at investing may completely miss the ones you're about to find by watching this video. So what I want to challenge you to do is go onto Redfin or Zillow and analyze to yourself, what is the average size of a duplex? Generally, for a 1-bed, 1-bath apartment, it's about 700 square feet, and for a 2-bed, it might be 900 square feet. So try to find a house that's 14 to, let's say, 1,800 square feet, and maybe do uncommon ratios, maybe a 4-bed, 2-bath, or a 6-bed, 3-bath, or maybe a 5-bed, 3-bath. Just ones where in a smaller house, it wouldn't be kind of common to have so many full bathrooms available, especially with the amount of bedrooms that you have. Generally, with these square footages and these room ratios, if you just simply click around on Redfin or Zillow, looking at the different houses, you're going to find that you're going to run into ones that are advertised as a duplex. They're often going to say investment opportunity, or solid investment, or duplex available. All of these will come up. If they don't come up, what you're often going to find is other ones that I'm going to call a duplex conversion. In those, you're going to find ones where they say, oh, can be easily converted to a duplex. So in this case, the realtor didn't actually mess up. It's technically a single-family home, but yet it's a weird one because it has separate metering and separate water, well, not water actually. In Baltimore, it's often going to be combined, but it'll have at least separate gas and a separate electric. With that, you can turn it back into a duplex, which of course make sure to call zoning to actually confirm that it is a legal duplex. But even if it's not a legal duplex, there's still ways to rent this as if it is a duplex. Obviously, you're going to have a situation where the tenants are sharing maybe an electric panel or some other fashion, and of course they're sharing an address in that sense. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of properties like this where people split the property anyway, despite the fact that it's not technically a duplex. And you can find ones just like that as well and still cash flow as if you have a normal duplex. However, for many of you beginning out there in your investing journey, I would imagine you'd probably want to find a real duplex, and you can find them by finding ones that the walls have been removed, but yet there's two separate entrances, and you'll notice everything is still separately metered. So in your search to find a duplex, you're probably going to run across the same areas over and over again. So what I've noticed in Baltimore City, let's say for example, if you go on Federal Street in East Baltimore, you're going to notice that there's duplexes along that entire row of houses. And then if you go into other places, maybe Bel Air Edison, or maybe up north into Anthonyville of Baltimore City, northeast anyway, or maybe in Lauraville around, Morgan State University, you're going to find duplexes are actually fairly common in an area, and they're often more times mislabeled there. If you go into those areas, you're often going to be able to drive around and even find these houses, and you might be able to even contact the owners of these houses. Many of them, surprisingly, are not actually investors. They're actually people who just lived in one unit and supplemented their mortgage with the other. These unsophisticated investors might be able to be convinced to sell their house to you, many times in the same way that a wholesaler would also talk to them. So this is just another way. If you find those areas that have a dense concentration of duplexes, then this would be a great way to drive around for dollars. Now, if you really don't know, just through experience, you can also ask zoning, which is that number I mentioned below earlier in the video. You can call them and ask them, what are the zoning districts for, that are allowing these duplexes and how many per. I mean, it just helps you a little bit with that information. Now, let's say you don't want to use Redfin and Zillow, then another two places that I find that you can find a lot of duplexes just simply by typing it in are unlisted duplexes off the MLS, and they're found on Craigslist and Facebook. Just by simply typing in duplex within your geographic area, you can find duplexes that are not actually listed as active on the MLS. This is a great way to find them from either wholesalers who are advertising the properties that they've, assigned contracts from a seller, or you might be even able to find them from sellers themselves. So this is a fantastic place to find them. Do not underestimate Craigslist and Facebook when doing your search. And lastly, we got to talk about wholesalers themselves. I've brought them up a couple times in this video. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to make it simple. Essentially, you can think of a wholesaler as a person who finds properties off market and wants to get them under contract and then assign that contract to you for you to buy. Well, these wholesalers understand that many of their audience who are buyers are investors, and investors like duplexes for the reason that we had mentioned earlier in the video. They're insane cash flow for a minimal amount of work. So a lot of times these wholesalers are going to throw duplexes at you all the time. So how do you find these wholesalers and how do you get them to give you the deals? Well, finding them, I'd often find maybe Facebook groups in the area. Oftentimes just by typing in, let's say, Baltimore wholesale, you might actually find these groups on there. Even if not there, simply Google searching them, or even going when you're on these Facebook groups, you can find them like posting a deal. Throw your email address around. What you're going to have happen is a lot of these wholesalers are going to grab your email for the buyer's list, even if it wasn't the person for the original post. They're going to then start sending you deals, and you're going to start getting a lot of spam to your inbox. Now, obviously, that sucks, but reasonably, if you filter through this, you can, filter out the ones that you don't want for garbage, and then the wholesalers that you do like, you can, of course, keep theirs in an inbox full of wholesale deals that keep just getting emailed to you. Now, of course, another way to do this is to ask your realtor about wholesalers. And this is most importantly, if you followed my advice in earlier videos about finding a mentor, you want to find a realtor whom is an investor first and only a realtor on the side. What this means is they can find wholesalers for you. They can tell you about the ones in the area. Now, why would they want to do this? Well, that's because a realtor can actually still get a commission off of you buying a wholesale deal. They can broker the deal for you and help you out with the entire process and still get that commission. Wholesalers will often work in a realtor's commission into their price, which means they're already expecting you to do this anyway. So realtors actually have incentive to work with wholesalers in finding you, having you meet together and finding you those deals. And then the last way you can find wholesalers who can get you these duplexes is just to simply call bandit signs. If you guys have ever seen those, hey, I'll buy your house now for so much, just by simply calling those and asking to be part of their buyers list, many of them, those signs are coming from wholesalers. So you can get on their buyers list and they'll send you a lot of stuff. Just remember to do your numbers. If you remember, in a previous video of mine, I analyzed a wholesale deal, which I'll continue to do, and not all of them are gold. So just make sure to always do your numbers before just trusting a wholesaler, but they are a great source to find duplexes outside of the MLS. Well, that's it for this video. Those are a couple quick tips on how to find duplex properties. Hopefully all that's been helpful. Let me know if you're trying to find maybe triplexes or commercial properties and maybe different ways to find those. And of course, we will get into those in later videos. But right now, I wanted to focus on duplexes because I know they really helped me out in my investing journey, and I know they'll definitely help you out in yours. So anyway, I'll talk to you all very soon.